Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today's video, I'm joined by my good friend again, Loot Muncher. We will be discussing some more leaked cards, in particular, both of our most anticipated leaked cards. So let's jump straight into it, guys.
Alrighty, so the first card, I'm kind of cheating already right off the bat. They're both one drops for 2 power. I got Black Knight and Silver Samurai. So Black Knight is when this card is destroyed, you draw a card. And Silver Samurai is when this card is discarded from your hand, draw a card. So both of these, I think everyone has figured out that drawing cards in this game is very good. That's why Crystal is so bad, because drawing cards are so good. And so I think, Black Knight, a lot of destroy decks and stuff with Carnages and Venoms and all that stuff, Armazolas are running around. So Black Knight's going to be very good on drawing those cards for that. But I think being overlooked a little bit is Silver Samurai. I think Silver Samurai, being able to play in your discard decks and discarding to draw into your other pieces if you don't already have the Swarm or the Apocalypse or the Dracula or whatever. Also, I think it could fit into other decks. I think there's a deck out there that's going to be strong enough where it runs a couple destroy cards to destroy Black Knight and a card or two to discard Silver Samurai and really make your deck really consistent, because just Silver Samurai and Colleen Wing, very simple combo.
Great combo.
Just
great combo.
2/4 draw a card. So,
100%. Yeah, I think I've similar thoughts on these cards, especially for Silver Samurai. Like, oftentimes when you're playing a discard deck, the problem is, like, you've got no cards left when you discard cards, right? So this just kind of keeps you flowing, like, you know what I mean? Keeps your hand busy. Like, it's a Morbius proc at the end of the day as well. It is one of those discards. Same with Black Knight as well. Like, these are low cost cards, but they help out cards like Death and like your Death procs and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, like you said, drawing cards is just so valuable. Like, I know you see roughly like 75% of your deck already, but if you can consistently like see the 12 cards in your deck in one game, that just makes your deck and your game so much better. You know what I mean? Because all of your decks are meant to synergize together. So if you can draw all of your cards and play most of them, like, that just makes your chances of winning so much better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think even if you can increase it with your deck where you see 10 cards every game consistently, or 11 cards, that's only going to make your deck better. Because if you think about it, like, even just think of a simple deck like Death Wave, there are going to be games for me where I don't have Wave, Death, or Arrow. That's the 3 cards left in my deck.
Yeah.
And so this will just help, make it more consistent. And I think both these cards are going to be very powerful if they're released like they are.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said as well, I think you can include these in other types of decks just as like extra draw, because you can easily have a deck where, like, you just slot Black Knight in and just have Killmonger, right? So that's your trigger for that. That's just an extra card draw. You can just have Silver Samurai, Colleen Wing, right? That's just an extra card draw. You know what I mean? I'd probably, if you're putting one of them in, I'd say I'd favor the Black Knight, because Killmonger's a good card in general anyways. The Colleen Wing with the Silver Samurai, that's like 2 cards you're using up in your deck, which you might want to use for other cards. But yeah, man, the potential is insane. I really can't wait until these come to the game. So moving on to the next card, guys, we have Kitty Pryde. She is a 1 energy 2 power card, and she reads, you can pull this back to your hand at any time. Now, I think a lot of people have overlooked, well, people who have seen these leaked cards have overlooked this card for sure. There's a lot of potential right here. Straight off the bat, I think you can include this into your typical kind of like Dino bounce deck, something like that. You know what I mean? Where you're consistently with the collector. Kitty Pryde with the collector just keeps boosting them up and up and up and up and up. But the flexibility that this card offers is super cool, because you can put her down and say, oh, I want to put her on this location or on that location. The maneuverability is really, really interesting. And actually, something I mentioned with Luke before this call was there's a really neat, I didn't know this, Luke told me about this. There's a really neat interaction with Beast. If you play, if Kitty Pryde is on board and you play Beast, she retains that reduction. So even if you put her back into play and she comes back into your hand, she retains that discount. So she will forever be a 0-2 that you can just place wherever you want or take it back. And like, that's just insane, man. The flexibility that offers is crazy. What are your thoughts, Luke?
Yeah, absolutely. And that combo, I've seen another creator, I can't remember his name, but he was playing it with Deadpool, and so it worked with Deadpool. So I'm assuming it would work with Kitty Pryde, which just having a 0 cost that you just play and bounce back and stuff, be really good with Angela, Bishop. There's a lot of cards.
Bishop, man, yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of cards that you could really get going with that. Be really good. Or what is it? Lockjaw. I think it'd work with Lockjaw.
Yeah, it would.
Because you just, even if you Lockjaw it out, you just pick it back up.
Yeah.
You have another slot, play it.
Exactly.
Put it back in your deck.
Actually, with Lockjaw, I don't know how it would work because it would go into your deck. You know what I mean? So you'd have to draw it again. Yeah.
Well, but what I'm saying is, if you, let's say you get lucky and you, or unlucky and you play something and Kitty Pride comes out.
You can just pull her out. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, that's awesome.
You just pick it back up
and then put it back down.
Play it, and it gets shuffled back into your deck. Yeah.
That's amazing. I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah, that's awesome. That's a really neat interaction.
So next we have Ghost Spider. I know a lot of people are looking forward to this one. It's a 2 cost, 2 power, and on reveal, move the last card you played here. So this is one of the most direct move effects we've seen. Doctor Strange is very similar, but it moves the highest power card. This is directly, you play it, the last card you played before it gets moved into it. And I think that will just have such a big impact on plays. Like, I could see this being played in most decks. Just because you're fighting for a lane, or, you know, and they pull something off, a Spider-Man or something, you can pull the last card that you played back out of there, like a losing situation. Other, you know, obviously move decks, it's going to be very good. Move decks are craving for more cards to be able to move stuff around. And then just, you know, it's solid 2/2. But I just think the flexibility, I think it's the most flexible move card we've seen. The most direct of just move this guy here.
All right, guys. So moving on to the next card here, we have SNOWGUARD. So SNOWGUARD just has like base stats. She is a 1 energy 2 power card, and she reads: if you haven't played this by turn 3, transform into a random spirit animal. Now these spirit animals, there's 3 different kinds. The 5 energy 3 power spirit bear, he has on reveal, give your other cards +1 power. So you know, that's just like a solid card to have. You know, if you're playing a lot of cheap cards, you just boost them in general, kind of like similar to similar to Blue Marvel, except it's on reveal. The Spirit Bird card, the 3 energy 4 power card, you can move this each turn, so it's just like a mini vision, which I know Lou, you were talking to me about earlier. Like, you really hope that vision maybe gets a bit of a buff and gets reduced down to 4. So a card like SNOWGUARD could perfectly do that. You know what I mean? Having the flexibility and the versatility to be able to just move your cards wherever you want is just super good. And then finally, the Wolf Spirit, the 4 energy 8 power card, is he has ongoing -2 power for each other card you have here. So obviously it's a 4 for 8, so the stats are pretty good. It's interesting. I mean, you'd have to be, I don't know, hoping to run some sort of Sauron 0 deck if this is the option that kind of comes out. But I think this is probably, believe it or not, this is probably one of the weaker ones out of. It depends, right? It depends if you want to like win a location by like a lot or not. It's probably not too bad, but I would, in my opinion, I would favor the other cards. This card, if any of you Hearthstone fans out there, reminds me so much of what's the name? Is it Animal Companion? Animal Companion, the 3 mana card. Yeah, Luke, what are your thoughts on this card? Which one of the spirit animals is your favorite?
Well, the mini vision is very good, but the basically Blue Marvel, I think, is very good too. I think you could play it in a deck where you want another Blue Marvel, and then if you whiff and it transforms into one of the ones you want, then that's fine. You just don't play it. There's definitely, I think, you know, the way you build your decks and stuff in this, you could definitely have slots in most decks for 1 or 2 cards that fit that niche
with these cards.
Scenario. You're not going to play them every single game that you draw them, but I think that's a very good one for it to have another Blue Marvel type effect. And then, like I said, the move one's not bad at all, and the other one's not bad. I mean, being a 4/8 isn't terrible. You just have to watch out for that negative. Maybe an arrow. I don't know, but I'd say I don't think arrow would be very good with the other forms. So.
Yeah, I think in my opinion the best form, just for if you want it in like any type of deck, is probably the mini vision. You know what I mean? The bird seems pretty good. But yeah, the other cards have their advantages as well. But it's super interesting card. One of those cards that you really have to think about, like what type of deck does this go in? Like, you know, I mean, maybe one of those decks that is able to synergize with all of those effects. But a really interesting inclusion there.
Alrighty, so the next card is Master Mold. So it's a 3 cost, 3 power, and its on reveal is add 3 Sentinels to your opponent's hand. So I think this is a very weird card. We haven't seen a lot of stuff like this to be adding stuff to your opponent's hand, but I really like it for clogging up their hands, because if you clog up their hand, they're not going to draw cards from their deck. They just have Sentinels.
Exactly.
And they're playing, and if they play them, they're just going to get more Sentinels in their hand. So unless you get like destroyed and they have like what is that card? Quinjet.
Yeah.
And then you just give them a bunch of 1/3s. But still could be fine. I mean, if all they're playing is 1/3s, then I mean you're probably still going to be able to go over top of them. But it's a very interesting card. I like this kind of effect. I think this is a very unique effect. I'd be very interested to see how this card plays out, but I think it definitely has potential. I think clogging your opponent's hand, especially if you played in a deck that where you already wanted to clog up your opponent's board with like debris and Viper and moving stuff over and stuff like that. I think, you know, you're clogging their board, clogging their hand. Like, what are they going to do? Because, I mean, the worst thing in the world in decks like that when you're playing the debris decks is you got to make every slot that you have valuable.
Exactly.
And if all your hand's full of Sentinels...
Then what can you do? What can you do? Actually, it's really interesting you said that. This would work really well with the combination with like the debris deck, because then they're just playing like the most cards they can realistically play is at a stage will be Sentinels. But card that I think would combo really well with, which we saw a little bit of a rise in him, but then he got nerfed then a little bit again, is Ronan the Accuser. I think you slot this card straight into that deck, because even if they play Sentinels, they just add another one back to their hand, like, you know what I mean? So they can't really silence the Sentinel at all. So, you know, you combo it with like Ronan and your Maximus and stuff like that. It's a super cool card. Yeah, a very strange one. We haven't really seen anything like that where you purposely give cards to your opponent besides Maximus. But yeah, really interesting.
If I had to guess that this card won't be released like this, and they're going to make it 1 or 2 Sentinels. 3 Sentinels just seems insane.
Yeah, it seems kind of crazy.
Too many Sentinels.
Yeah, so moving on to the next card, guys, we have Blink. Blink is a 3 energy, 1 power card, and she reads, you can move this each turn. When it moves, +1 power. So again, we just mentioned a mini vision. This is a super, like, this, if this card releases in the state it's in, like, it's probably, in my opinion, going to be like one of the best move cards, one of the centerpieces, because it just combos so well with everything. She can interact with Craven, just moving stuff in general, and again the flexibility, like anytime you've got locations like Sanctum Sanctorum or things you want to move into slots, like you can do this, but then you can move it back out. You can really bait your opponent with this card. That's what I love about Vision. Like I said, like I just wish we got to experience more Vision than we have so far, because he's like that high cost, you know what I mean? I think when a card like this comes in, we're gonna see the true power of an effect like this. What are your thoughts on this, Luke?
I agree. The one thing I keep thinking of is the dream is to have Craven on Kongloon, and you just keep moving Blink back, because Kongloon's the location whenever you move a card
with the
there,
+2.
you get +2 power.
Man.
So you just move it there, give it +2 power. Craven's there, so he gets powered up, and then you move him away. My poster just fell. But it's all good.
Oh good. Oh,
but
man.
yeah, so I think the card's very good for what you were saying with comboing with Craven and stuff. And it's another one of those cards. We get more cards like Craven that benefits from cards moving to that location. It's only gonna
Definitely,
get better.
yeah, it's only gonna get better. Great card. Can't wait. I don't know if it's gonna be released like this, but if it is, it's gonna be a lot of fun to try out. That was...
Hold on a second. I'm gonna try to put it back up. It's okay.
Oh man, I'm so glad that made it into the video.
It would have been so much better if it would like fell and hit me in the head, like as I was talking, just wham.
Oh man.
All right, so the next card is Negasonic Teenage Warhead. It's a 3 cost, 2 power. When any card is played here, destroy this card and that card. So I think this is a very interesting card. I think the fact that I think it's gonna be very good in Destroy, because right now the dream is to just get 2 death triggers with death. You just want to destroy 2 cards, so play 1
For sure.
I think it allows for you. I'm a big fan with Arrow and obviously other cards, but being able to control lanes. So you just play this in a lane and just go ahead, opponent, play a card there. It's going to destroy. And I think most people may play something small there, but that's fine. You just clear it out. You get your death counters. That's fine. But I think you can also set it up big if this is you're winning a lane on turn 5 and this comes down. Your opponent can't play anything to that turn 6. It's just going to get destroyed. I mean, you got to take in the fact you're going to lose that 2 power also, but potentially just nullifying their card, especially if you can Storm or Spider-Man to kind of lock down their options.
Oh yeah, man.
And then you can have Herb just sitting there waiting to destroy a card when it comes down. I think this card is going to be super good. I'm super excited to play with it. I think there's a lot you could do with it.
Yeah, I think cards like this are super interesting because they have that you know, there's kind of 2 ways you can go about using this card. Like you said, like you can use it for your own destroy benefit, or you can just set it up like, oh yeah, the cards you mentioned there to combo with Spider-Man I wish we could see, I want to see more kind of Spider-Man combos. The main one that I've run personally is either you can do it with Professor X, or maybe you can use Juggernaut with him as well. But this card with Spider-Man would be super, super good. With Storm as well. Yeah, it's the flexibility on this card is really good. It's really interesting you were talking about, like, even destroy decks, like, moving forward, we're definitely going to see a different form of destroy decks, right? Like, we're not going to see the traditional death wave. Like, it's funny to say, but I don't think, it's weird. I don't know if we're going to see another type of destroy deck where actually death isn't run, where you're just going to want to actually destroy, like, big cards, because we've got Null coming up, right? And Null, the amount of craziness you can do with that card is going to be wild. So, like, if you destroy one of his big cards on, I don't know, like turn 4 or something, and then like your null gains that, like, it's just, the possibilities are super cool. But yeah, this is like a really interesting kind of like tech card that has that like versatility.
I think something that's really cool with it too, if you have priority on turn 5 and you have Daredevil, you can just snipe whatever card they play.
Oh, man.
You just snipe whatever they're playing.
Oh, it's so good.
And you're talking about Death. I think you're correct. I think Death is a very powerful card, but I think you play in a very specific type of destroy deck. And from my Null list that I have been messing around with, does not have Death in it, but does have Teenage Warhead in it. If we get the card around the same time. I just think, you know, because if you destroy anything of theirs, you know, it's +2 power to your Null for your card, then whatever their power is. And like I said, I think sniping cards with Daredevil seems really fun.
That's super cool, man. That's awesome. That's awesome for sure. Moving on to the next card, guys, we've got Jean Grey. She is a 3 energy, 3 power card, and she says, on reveal, the next card your opponent plays must be played here if possible. So you can kind of compare this to Arrow, but it's not really Arrow, because Arrow moves the cards that your opponent played. So I guess there are some like exceptions to, like, you couldn't do certain things with it. Like, for example, say I don't know how, right, but I don't know, say Jean Grey somehow got summoned on a Sanctum Sanctorum. I don't think she would be able to actually pull, like, it's weird how you're saying, like, would it still move the card or would it pull it? Like, you know what I mean? It's pretty interesting.
So I don't think it would. I think that's why it says if able. But what makes me wonder is, does her effect become null if it's not able? So let's say you play it and they play Scarlet Witch at the same time, the same location, and it becomes Sanctum.
Yeah.
Then, so can they not play a card that turn because they can't play into Sanctum? Or does her text saying if they can, that means they're free from the effect and they can play wherever they want?
Yeah, well, that's
what I'm wondering.
In that example with Scarlet's already after being, like, well, I assume they would have priority. If it's on the same turn, then that's okay. Yeah, it's weird though. Like, if you played it in a location. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so what I'm saying is with Jean and Scarlet Witch, so y'all both play it.
And who has priority?
The priority doesn't matter.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, because Jean Grey says next turn, they have to play a card here if able. But their Scarlet Witch that turn turns it into Sanctum, so you can't play any other cards.
Oh, I got you.
So you have Sanctum with Jean Grey and Scarlet Witch setting in it. It's their next turn. Jean Grey saying you have to play a card here, but they can't.
No, yeah, it's probably just like negated. Yeah, I wonder if the interaction is like what actually happens. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. One thing makes it more powerful than the other. Does it mean they cannot play a card that turn? Or does it mean they are free from the effect and they can play wherever? Yeah. Because I'm just thinking of stuff like Avengers compound and stuff like, or whatever the one where it makes you on turn 5 you have to play.
Yeah,
cards there.
Avenger Compound. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, which one would take effect? That what if you play Jean Grey on 4, and you have both of those? So which one is it, or can you do both?
That's really
can you play either or?
That's really interesting. Yeah. Man, I did not even kind of like consider that. I think in general though, like it's probably cool to try. Oh, see, it's also interesting because your opponent knows that the next cards they play are gonna be played at that location, right? So like, I mean, you could be like, okay, you're about to destroy your cards next turn. I think you're about to destroy your cards next turn. No, you can't. You have to play them over here. So it's different. It's different to Arrow in that sense, right? They preemptively know that their cards are gonna have to be played in location. So, I think it's still pretty powerful though. Even with that, like, oh yeah, whatever. They know they can't stop that from happening. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's interesting what that interaction will be. Maybe when we get battle mode, we'll have to do like an interaction video. God, there's so many things you could do with these cards. Oh my god, man. All right, guys. So the next card we have here is the Phoenix Force. So actually, kind of synergizes with Jean Grey a little bit. So it's a 6 energy 3 power card, and it reads: on reveal, revive one of your destroyed cards with +5 power. If it's Jean Grey, +10. So, I mean, straight off the bat, I know we were talking about this earlier. You were saying that, like, even without, I mean, obviously, if it's not Jean Grey, the Jean Grey is just like a huge benefit. I don't think you specifically play this card for it to hit the Jean Grey. You definitely play Jean Grey in a deck with this for the chance of it to be absolutely nutty. But like, you could like revive. It's really interesting. So obviously, like, you could play this in a deck where you're destroying cards, right? So like, you want to bring back a super powerful card, but like, even if your opponent like Shang-Chi's something on 4 or 5, now usually they save a Shang-Chi till the end, but if they Shang-Chi something, you can just bring back, like, and you know that's going to be a big dude that you're bringing back with +5 power. So it's definitely interesting. That's a lot of power on that one location that you're then getting. Any particular combos you can see with this, Lou?
I think there's a good bit of combos. I think if you just play Teenage Warhead and then play Phoenix and it comes back, it's 7 power. If they play something else there, like if magic or something happened, or if you're able to cheat it out early. Interesting
that you said cheat cards out, because if you want to cheat this out, you could probably hit Jean Grey. Like, there's definitely a deck that you run where like you always want to hit Jean Grey. So you can play Jean Grey, you could like destroy it, and then play like wave on a certain turn or whatever, or like try and like if Jean Grey is the only card that you destroy, even if Jean Grey is the only card that you destroy, then you know this is gonna be busted. But what would that be? That would be like 16 power, 16. So basically a destroyer with no downside. Like, it's kind of crazy.
I just thought of a really good turn 5. So you play Jean Grey and Carnage. And you haven't destroyed any other cards that game. So then they have to play into that lane. And then you can play Phoenix that's going to bring back Jean Grey. And you're going to have 16 power wherever you want it. Yeah. With them only playing into one lane.
Yeah, exactly. Why are they only playing into one lane, though? Oh, because of Jean Grey. Oh, that's true.
You play Jean Grey Carnage, and they have to play into that lane because of Jean Grey, and then you have 16 power you can put wherever you want.
That's such a good combination, man. That's so good. That's probably actually like one of the ideal combos. So like you can like from turns like 1 to 4, you can like set up, or I really want to like try and like secure like a certain lane. Just do that, and then just put 16 because they can't do anything. That's really cool. Yeah. Oh man, I want to start like theory crafting with this. Honestly, the potential, man. The potential.
All right, so my last card is Super SKRULL. I know a lot of people are excited about this one. It's a 4 cost, 2 power, has the ongoing effect of all enemy cards. Now, this card, I think effect is amazing, and I think they've already seen that, because originally when this card was leaked, it was a 6/6, which seems insane. So yeah, but I still think you probably still want to play this on turn 6 if you want to come out of nowhere with it. But you just think about how many good ongoing cards there are. Yeah. Like I'm just thinking about if your opponent just has like Dino Iron Man. You have Dino Iron Man in one card. Yeah, like, just for 4 power, you are Dino and Iron Man. Not to mention, other stuff. Like, I was thinking, you remember early on in the beta when people started unlocking Omega Red? Yeah. And they were doing the
Omega Red, Iron Man,
Iron
Onslaught.
Man, Onslaught.
Yeah.
Cool, play it. I play Super Scroll, and I have the same thing. You did a lot more work.
Man, it's so interesting, and then you've also got the thing of like, imagine it's like I don't know, like Super Scroll versus Super Scroll, like the mirror match, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like how funny would that be? Oh my god! Like there's definitely like actually now that you say this is 4, like okay, you are right. You probably want to play this on 6 to kind of be like, oh, you know, this is a surprise. This is like kind of like a big finisher card. But like if they don't have Enchantress, again, if it all depends on the meta and what decks are popular and stuff like that. But like if you if you somehow like Arnim Zola this and then you get 2 of them or something like that, and you have like the like, even if you just have like Omega Red Iron Man, or if they have Omega Red, again, this is all very specific stuff, but the potential with this card is absolutely nutty. I think it is better as a lower cost card, to be honest, rather than a 6 cost. I mean, well, they decided to nerf it, but I think it's a little bit more. There's a few more things you can do with it being low cost, I think.
This makes it a little bit more Mr. Negative friendly, if you wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Because if you think about those days back in the day when Mr. Negative Sarah ran everywhere, they were running Iron Man and Mystique and all that. So they pull off all that combo, and then you play your Super Scroll and
right back at you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, super interesting.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the day that someone plays Super Scroll and I get to rogue it. That's all I want.
Beautiful, man.
It doesn't really do anything unless they have ongoing too, but it just would feel.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome for sure. So yeah, guys, moving on to my final card, we have Lady Deathstrike. I know this is actually a card we previously discussed this, Luke. This is a super interesting card. So she is a 6 energy 4 power card, and she reads, on reveal, destroy the enemy card with the highest power at this location. So, I mean, if I'm thinking like top of my head, like huge cards, if we ever get to a meta, which I don't think we will, like imagine this card back in the day when it was kind of like early, when like you knew like an Infinite was coming down, you just play this and the Infinite dies, right? Same with Destroyer decks. This counters Destroyer decks huge. If there's no Cosmo in the lane, this is just like, right, you just want to play your Destroyer on that lane, you're not playing it. Dead. Now obviously you would want, actually in that case you would want them have priority, but that's often the case with Shang-Chi. You know, when you want to destroy your enemy's cards, you want them to have priority a lot of the time because you're guessing, oh, they're going to play a big card. But this is just like a huge, it's just like a I wouldn't say a better Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is amazing already, but it's just like a kind of a more flexible Shang-Chi. I don't know, what are your thoughts on this compared to Shang-Chi?
So Shang-Chi has the advantage of being able to destroy multiple cards.
Yeah.
I think that's a big deal. But this card can destroy their 8 power Odin.
In terms of Odin, he's probably not the best target for Lady Deathstrike due to when he comes down, his on reveal already triggers. But I think just for the example of being able to destroy cards with less than 9 power, Odin's just a good example. Yes, cards that aren't 9. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's the highest power. So they could have cards that you can't destroy with Shang-Chi, but you can with Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah, like even I didn't even think of it. Like cards like again, if you don't have your Enchantress or whatever, like trying to remove something like an Onslaught, you know what I mean? That can be like a tricky card to, if you don't have your Enchantress. Like how else do you kind of stop it? Yeah, I didn't kind of think of that. Yeah, because there are quite a good few powerful cards that are under just under the 9, you know what I mean? But
yeah. And I think another thing that puts Lady Deathstroke on a different playing field of Shang-Chi is I think it depends on what deck you're running or what you would want in either one of them and the meta, stuff like that. But Wong loves most on reveal cards. Wong doesn't really do anything with Shang-Chi. But Lady Deathstrike, the way her effect would work, you just delete both their two last.
Exactly.
Or, if you have the location that doubles the reveals, just being able to delete 2 cards, because Shang-Chi can do it if he has more, but he's not activating twice.
Yeah, man, it's super cool. It's, again, similar to like the big combo we're seeing at the moment, which is like your Wong, Black Panther, Arnim Zola. Like you could do this with these and just like delete. Again, you'd have to get lucky with the Wong, but like delete like half of their board or something like that. It would be kind of crazy.
Oh, I didn't even think about it. That does seem pretty awesome if you do that. If you could like Electro
Yeah.
on 3, and then Wong 4, Lady Deathstrike on 5, and
And
then
then Arnhem.
on
Yeah, how
6.
fucking nutty is
You're just
that?
deleting cards everywhere. Yeah.
So yeah, guys, that's all the cards that we have time for today. Let us know down in the comments what your favorite cards are. Obviously, there's still some leaked cards that we haven't discussed yet. Super excited. We're getting really close, Luke. We're getting super close to this December patch, is what we're all assuming is when these collector tokens are going to come in Series 4 or Pool 4. So I'm telling you, man, I am ready. I am so ready for some new cards. My favorite time playing this game was when everyone was collecting new cards. Everyone was making their own crazy decks. You know what I mean? It was all the decks really felt like your own decks because you were only using the cards that you had available. Everyone had different cards available to them. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm super excited for. I don't know about yourself.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. It's gonna take it because we both had max collections, had all the cards for a while now.
Exactly.
But my favorite time, especially towards the end of Pool 3, kind of knew the game, was well aware of what was good and stuff. So getting to, I unlocked Magneto super late. So finally unlocking him and getting to play with him was super cool. And we're going to get to go back to that. Because
I know.
I'm assuming when Pool 4 comes out, they're going to be all the Nexus cards. So we're going to have like 16, 18, 20 cards come all out at once. But you're not going to be, I'm assuming you're not going to be able to collect them all very quickly.
Very quickly, yeah.
So I'm going to pull Lady Deathstrike and you're going to pull Jean Grey, and we're going to be building those decks around those cards, and it's going to be really fun again.
I know.
To be like, oh man, I can't wait till I unlock Jean Grey. You have something to look forward to. And then trying out new cards as you get them.
Of course. I'm super excited. I can't wait. Like, guys, if you think this game is good now, you've no idea what's in store for this game. This game is just going to grow and grow. It's going to be absolutely wild. So yeah, everyone, thank you very much for watching the video. I greatly appreciate it. Drop a like, sub, comment below what your thoughts were on these cards. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.